Joining us now, Ben Cline, Congressman from the 6th District of Virginia, down in the Lynchburg-Roanoke area. I'll be driving through his district today on my long drive from Rich Vegas, even though we're not going to have a casino here, all the way down to Radford, with if I keep driving the car 10 more miles, I think I'll be in Memphis or something. It's far away. So got to go through Salem and all that. Maybe we'll stop there and eat, but we're going to Radford today. Joining us now, Ben Cline, Congressman. Good to have you, sir.
John, it's great to be with you, and it's great to hear you're going to be trucking the truth through the 6th District of Virginia.
I know I'm going to wave to your office as I go by on Highway 81 as I battle the trucks. Are you ever going to widen that thing? I mean,
don't look away too long. There's 81 is overcrowded, and so I'm watching closely as our state legislators try and address that issue.
Now that you're in Congress, maybe you can go into the Oval Office, ask to meet with the president, and say, look, I'm 100% for your infrastructure bill, whatever it is, I'm for it. I just need money to expand this highway I've got here, which is a catastrophe. In the General Assembly, some people want to toll it. How can you toll it? What, do you want to toll it now? Put tolls on it?
There's the people who are supporting tolls, people who are supporting higher fuel taxes. And so I'm watching with interest as they grapple with those solutions. I'm hoping that the president will do an infrastructure bill. We usually do a 6-year highway transportation bill, funding bill, and that's due to come up in the next year or two. And I want 81 to be at the top of that list, and so I'm going to be fighting for that in Washington as well.
So before we get into the national political scene, Congressman Ben Cline, 6th District Republican, newly elected congressman. Oh, by the way, he did win the office lottery, so he's got quite the suite going on in there.
You all got to come by. It's a lot of room.
I know. I got to come and check it out.
Residents of the 6th District to come visit, and so. But I'm not in there as often as all that. I'm running around back and forth to vote to try and get this government started back up again.
Just before we get to the national scene, just one more question on your district and Highway 81. Tolls, gas tax, direct transportation revenue tax. Are you in favor of any of those in order to widen it?
Well, I'm not going to tell the state legislators what to do. They're making their own decisions. I'm not interested in raising taxes at the federal level. And I know that we can allocate funds for 81 because it is one of the most deadly interstates in the country, and the truck traffic is twice what it was built for. So the federal government does have a responsibility to chip in and help with the widening. We've done it before, right at northbound. When you come back from Radford through Rockbridge County, you'll have a beautiful third lane there to help you climb up that hill at Timber Ridge. And that's from federal funds being matched with state funds. So just need to do that along more stretches.
So you're not in favor of tolls, and you're not in favor of a gasoline tax to widen it?
Well, like I say, for me to get in the way of the state legislators, I was in the State House for 16 years, and we used to complain vociferously when the federal government federal leaders would try and tell the state what to do. I'm a strong advocate for federalism, I believe. Also in the government that's closest to the people is the best. Right. Washington provides more problems than they do solutions these days. So for me to try and tell my good friends in the House and Senate what to do, it would be a bad move. So I'm going to watch with interest, and I'm happy to provide them any input and guidance that they would be seeking, but they haven't sought it, so I'm not anxious to jump in their way.
I get it. We're with Congressman Ben Cline, Republican, 6th District of Virginia. That's the Southwest Virginia area. His district stretching from Lynchburg down through Roanoke, and he has replaced the retiring Bob Goodlett. So all that's a good thing. Congressman, a government shutdown. I just got off the phone with Rob Whitman. He's been calling forever for congressmen not to get paid. Some are not taking their pay voluntarily. I get that. But the Democrats will not even negotiate with the president. I was in the Oval Office yesterday at a meeting with him. They won't even not negotiate with them or have a conversation. For the life of me, I can't figure out what they're doing. It seems like their party has been hijacked by, and the president said this in a tweet, and I agree with him, it's been just hijacked by the far left wing that basically is pushing for an open borders situation. Sanctuary cities, sanctuary states. Basically, you step foot in the country, you get welfare, you get housing, you get food stamps, you get education, you get free health care, you're not going to get deported. They have all these incentives set up to get people to come in. It almost seems like they're just trying to replenish their voting base or something.
No bones about it. They are pandering to the far left. The Democrat Party has been hijacked. You could see that in the 6th District this year. My opponent was a far left Bernie Sanders supporter, wanted Medicare for all, was not interested in securing the border with a wall, and that's not what the residents of the 6th District wanted. So I'm down there fighting for a wall. I'm hoping that the Democrats will compromise and come to the table. We don't have to. I would love to see the president get all $5.6 billion for the wall, but if it's 5.4 or 5 or 5.1, I don't even need to call it a wall. We can call it Nancy's Secure Border Barrier and name it after her. I don't care, just as long as it gets built. So we're ready to compromise. The president's ready to compromise, but Nancy Pelosi is holding the reins tightly over her freshmen. They won't even go to the White House to meet with the president because they're too scared of their speaker and the retribution. Her own daughter said she'll cut off your head before you even feel the pain. She's gonna tell her freshmen what to do and hold those reins tight. So hopefully over the next couple of weeks they will realize that they need the government to start running again, and giving a little bit on border security and on the wall is the way to do it, and we can get a deal done quickly.
John Fredericks Radio Network, Trucking the Truth Across America. We're with Ben Cline, newly elected Republican Congressman, 6th District of Virginia. Ben, would you share with our audience what some of your key committee assignments are?
Well, we just found those out. I'm honored to be appointed to the Judiciary Committee, which is one that I was on, Courts of Justice in the State House, and I've chaired the Militia, Police, and Public Safety Committee. So on issues very near and dear to my heart, and the Constitution, Second Amendment issues, life issues, immigration issues, these are all coming through Judiciary, and so I'm pleased to be able to go and fight for those issues that are so important to my constituents. Also, Ed and Labor used to be called something else, but they put the labor back in because the Democrats are going to be putting all kinds of labor union bills through, and I'm anxious to stand up for the rights of the worker. I don't support forced unionism, and I do support our small businesses and the engines of our economy, and so I want to create more jobs, and so working on that committee is going to be important. Plus, on education, the Democrats are going to be trying to involve the federal government more and more in our schools, and I oppose that, and I think we need to reduce and eliminate the federal role in our education system because our states have the solutions. Virginia knows how to educate Virginia's children, not the federal government. So getting the federal government out of the way is going to be a main goal of mine, and making sure we stop this expansion of government at the federal level.
Congressman, are you in favor of not getting paid, having congressmen and senators not drawing a paycheck and not having it retroactive during a government shutdown? Rick Scott's going to put legislation through the Senate. I don't know if it'll get out of committee. Maybe McConnell squashes it. I don't know. But he's going to make us think about it. And, of course, your colleague to the, I guess, east of you, Rob Whitman, has been fighting for this for a long time. He's already got legislation in. That always gets bottled up in committee. Are you in favor of that?
Well, I'm in favor of getting the government started so that we can pay our federal employees, and creating some pain for members of Congress to end this government shutdown is a good strategy. So I think what the president did with regard to Nancy Pelosi and her Codell over to visit the troops, I don't think I'm not going to guess as to his motivations, but I'm guessing it had to do with security reasons because her canceling the State of the Union was indefensible, but she claimed it had to do with security. So this type of thing, we can't operate as usual. It's not business as usual, and Nancy Pelosi can't operate as Speaker as business as usual and just jet off on her trip with her Democrat colleagues to go visit the troops and pose for photos while Washington's shut down and the federal government shut down back here. So I think the president did the right thing. And I think on the State of the Union, he needs to take it to the next level. I think that he needs to, if he can't have it in the House chamber, we'll go to him. Let's go have it at one of his arenas. He can have a State of the Union bigger than any State of the Union has ever been before. And we'll all go where he goes. I say take it to the border. Have the State of the Union at the border in a stadium in Arizona or Texas, and talk about what is on the line here. It's about the safety and the protection of American families. And I think the American people will respond.
Congressman Cline, you've gotten to know a lot of the freshmen that you've come up with. Many of them Democrats, obviously. They won 40 seats that Republicans had. As you talk to freshman Democrats that might be uncomfortable with this charade that's going on, and I know they can't cross Pelosi, so without sharing anything out of school or any names or anything, I mean, have you talked to reasonable Democratic freshmen who have shared with you and said, look, I really want to get this done, but there's like our hands are tied. We can't do anything. Our leader forbids it. I mean, is there any freshmen you've talked to that are sympathetic to finding a compromise to end this impasse?
I have not talked to a single freshman who actually says that they have pushed Nancy Pelosi to compromise. I think reasonable freshman Democrat is a near extinct personality, and there are very few and far between. And I think that most of them in this election were running to the left and are products of the left. So they are trying to find solutions for their supporters and for the government to get running again, but they're not at a position yet where they're ready to cross their speaker. So, but it's going to happen, and I think the speaker will be forced to come to the table eventually, even if she's not negotiating now. She will when her people realize that it's not sustainable. And as long as the president stays strong, and we'll have his back, because as long as he stands by the rule of law, and that's what we're talking about here, the rule of law and the protection of the American people, which has been the president's top priority for his entire administration, we'll back him. And I think eventually we'll be successful when we get the wall built and the money for border security, and the government will start operating again.
Congressman, thanks for that insight. Excellent. And it really goes back to what we started the conversation with. The Democratic Party, as we know it or thought we knew it, really is now the party of extremism, open borders, sanctuary cities, sanctuary states, health care for all, driver's license for all, no deportation. Basically, figure out how to get in the country, get 1 foot over the border, and the Democratic Party is going to take care of you. That's basically what they're saying. I don't see how they win with that strategy going into 2020. I think the second in command, the majority leader, Steny Hoyer in Maryland. I think he understands that. I think he knows they're in trouble. He had an interview on Fox News with Brett Baer that you get old enough like me, and you look at that, and you know the guy knows what they're doing is crazy. That's basically it. So we're going to see what happens.
I heard about that interview. I need to go watch it.
You got to watch it. It is
majority
a classic.
Leader did reveal that there are some things as good. There are some good walls, and that we need some good walls. So I'm anxious to watch that.
Watch it twice, right? The first time you do it for content. The second time you watch it, watch his body language. Steny Hoyer's not a bad guy. He's been around a long time. He's not a bad guy, and he knows his party has been usurped by the crackpot wing, and he doesn't know what to do. And if you just watch that interview, they're in a dilemma. The Democrats are really in a dilemma. They're going to lose in 2020 if they keep going down this path, because they're simply going to be the party of open borders. And there's no poll that shows that a majority of voters want an open borders government. They want a country, not a landmass, and a couple of administrators running it. John Fredericks Radio Network. Congressman Cline, thanks for being with us.